What got you into professional wrestling?
Well, I was always a fan. My grandpa used to go to the Chase to watch, wrestling at the Chase. And I remember when I was 4 or 5, he would take me with him, and I really didn't know what was going on then. Just a bunch of guys in spandex, or I would call it swimming trunks, throwing each other around the ring. But I was just so hooked. And then we'd watch it on TV with him. So my grandpa is a thanks for that. Then just I think most of my fondest memories was the Attitude Era. I grew
Yeah.
up watching like 1996. I was big on Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart's feud. Um, so I was always just fascinated by professional wrestling. Just the mystique of it, good versus evil, bad guy versus good guy, and the colorful characters. Like when you look at Doink the Clown, for crying out loud. I mean, talk about an eye catcher for like little kids. And Vince McMahon had a very from a business aspect back then. He was all about whimsical characters like Duke the Dumpster Trophy or the Undertaker. Talk about him, and just characters that really made children and make our parents buy the the toys.
Yeah.
So that really had me hooked.
Sean and Brett, I mean, talk about two real technical wrestlers that actually, could apply their craft and had, showmanship.
Sure, they
Um,
were entertainers, great wrestlers, but as a child, what attracted me to really be hooked on Shawn Michaels, be a fan of Shawn Michaels, was kind of like he's the little guy, right? And he was always fighting the opposition, trying to climb that hill to be a champion. And when I was in high school, I was always small and picked on a lot and bullied a lot. And then when I turn on the TV, I'd see Shawn Michaels, not the biggest guy in the world, but fighting to be that champion, fighting. And I saw Shawn before, when he was a babyface, not when he was a heel. I'm sure I'd have a different opinion about him if I actually was watching him back when he super kicked Marty Jannetty and put him through the plane glass window. I'd probably have a different opinion altogether. Or when he was with Sherry, you know, when I mean, watching that now, I have such an appreciation for Shawn Michaels as a heel. Um, but yeah, I have memories and photos of me even going back to my 7th birthday where I had a Hulk Hogan and Gene Flash Snuka action figures.
yeah.
That's about professional wrestling. We all start out as fans and we remain fans.
hmm
Just some of us go on to actually try it. And
That's
I'm
right.
blessed with that.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's like the circle of life. You're a fan at a young age. You grow up being a fan all your life, and you pass it on to the next generation. Especially if you have a family of your own. And so
That's
that's
right.
just it's amazing, to see the cycle just continues and continues. Um, but yeah, like they had a WWE back in the '90s had a lot of you know cartoon characters, I guess you could call it, like very animated, very like
Yeah,
over
Boss
the top,
Booger. Come on, man.
over
Yeah,
the
the
top.
Richter.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it all, yeah, and the Attitude Era really brought that huge like adult oriented, dark edge to it, with the Taker and Kane storyline, Stone Cold, Vince McMahon, The Rock, it just was a hot time, in the business. It really was. Like so many people got into it. I can't believe how hot it was back then.
It is, and it still is to an extent. A lot of people try to crap on it today, like, oh, it's nothing like it was back in the day. But if you think about it, Vince McMahon is still surviving, despite what news sources would say that he's bankrupt or he's trying to sell his company and whatever. It still has had. Just last night, they're here in St. Louis. Did you go?
I did not go. I'm not from the area, but
Oh, I'm sorry.
but I did watch.
Oh, you
I
didn't
did
watch?
watch. I'm from Nashville, so I'm from Nashville, Tennessee. So
Oh, right on, right
yeah.
on. Well, anyway, it was a sellout crowd. Vince McMahon is doing just fine as he was back then as he is today. I mean,
hmm
granted, Triple H and Stephanie are running the show, but it's to each their own. Some people can't grow with the times. You know, a Boston Booger wouldn't get over today as it would have, yesteryear.
No,
Or,
no.
or I don't know. Give me another one that probably wouldn't do so well today
Well,
as it was.
I was watching an interview with The Undertaker a couple of weeks ago, and he was talking about how he was asked, I believe, like, would his character get over today as it would 30 years ago when he first came in the company? And I think he said,
Right.
probably not. It was just so different. It evolved over time. With the biker and going back to the dead man and everything like that. But like he was able to, he was like the only one to play that character. I feel like to the extent that he did. So I mean, that's like an exception when you talk about some of the over the top characters that I feel like you could still make work today. In
Sure,
today's
but
time.
what Undertaker was saying was like he had to evolve with the time as well.
Yes,
Like
yes.
back when you had Paul Bearer and the Undertaker, and they're in the mortuary, hammering on the casket, building a casket for a casket match. Could that get over today? Not really, because the fans are too smart. They're too like, oh, come on. You're not really working on a mortuary. You're not really the dead man. Though, a wise wrestler once said, if you believe in yourself, the fans will believe in you. So could he get it over? Yeah, it might be a little harder, but that's why you got to change with the times. That's why he went with, the biker gimmick for a while. And then when he came back, he was the biker slash Undertaker gimmick. He
Yeah.
combined the two. So it's always, you have to evolve with the times. And like I said before, back then in the 90s, today, still just as good in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the cool thing about being a fan, for life is that you have so many different wrestlers, that become your favorite. And over
Right.
time, I guess it's safe to say Shawn Michaels was one of yours.
Absolutely. I was a huge Shawn Michaels fan.